What's up, everybody? Happy Friday. We are late, but we are here. Um, if you are a part of the United States, we want to wish you a happy belated Thanksgiving. For the rest of the world, happy Thursday, belated Thursday. But here we are on the real holiday of this season, Black Friday. But we are here now in the middle of our shopping extravaganza to review AEW Dynamite from 2 days ago, November 25th, 2020. How are you doing?
Pretty good, man. Pretty good. I'm glad we could get in something for it's too late compared to yeah.
Yeah, so you know
Compared to
how
when
it
it was
is.
actually aired. Yeah.
You know how it is sometimes, people have messed up sleep schedules and they're not even up during Dynamite when it airs or up to do the podcast. You can probably look at the bags under our eyes and figure out which one of those guys it is. Anyway.
Yes, exactly.
AEW Dynamite, November 25, 2020. And we start off with Hangman Page versus John for Silver. And this is Hangman's first match since losing to Kenny Omega at Full Gear in that title eliminator tournament. And did you notice Hangman's blurb when he was walking out when they show the nameplate and the record?
Yeah, he's too lazy to pick up a phone after losing it for the last 6 weeks.
Lost phone for 6 weeks. Too cheap to buy new one.
Too cheap. That's what it was.
So Silver at the start wants a fist bump. Hangman doesn't give it to him. Silver tries to show off his biceps, and Hangman gives him a forearm to the face. Silver's kind of like, I guess he's a comedy dude. I don't really watch BTE anymore, and I don't really watch Dark. So I know John Silver is kind of like a big internet darling right now. But I don't know. I like his wrestling. I kind of don't really dig the character too much. He's kind of a tryhard to me.
Persona.
Yeah. He also reverses a backdrop and slaps Hangman on the ass. It's like, okay. He's got some nice kicks, though. He gives Hangman a bunch of stiff kicks to the chest. Hangman fires back with a big chop. Hangman gets a dive. It's a sliding lariat for 2. Silver tries a splash. Hangman catches him for a fall-away slam. It's a standing shooting star press for 2. Hangman goes for the buckshot. He gets countered into a Hurricane Rana pin. That was really cool.
Yeah,
that was a really, really good move. Gets a 2, of course, though. Silver starts going nuts. He hits a nice looking brainbuster for 2. More kicks, but Hangman gets a lariat. He hits a Liger bomb. Then he goes for the buckshot, and he nails Silver with the buckshot. Silver does a flipping spin in the air to sell the move, and Hangman gets a 3. So I thought this was other than the comedy thing, I thought this was pretty good. What about you?
No, this is a good opening match. You mentioned the fact that we haven't seen Hangman since, he lost to Kenny Omega in the title eliminator, and that felt like a lifetime ago, doesn't it? I don't know why.
It does feel like a long time ago.
And it was just a couple weeks ago, but I guess
it was the beginning of November.
Yeah,
not even a month ago.
It was weird to think that it's been that long since we've seen him, but he put on a good show. John Silver, like you said, is kind of this internet darling that's coming up. His wrestling's great. His persona is kind of a love it or hate it kind of thing. I'm kind of in between, which is, I know I just said it's a love it or hate it thing, because I don't mind his persona so much, but it takes away from the Dark Order being some kind of threat. Because if he was on his own doing this stupid shtick, I'd be like, he's funny as hell. That's great, good for him. But because he's doing this with the Dark Order, trying to be some serious threat, at least on Dynamite, it kind of takes away from them being taken seriously. Because on BT, they're completely different, and it's weird that they're kind of straddling that line between Dynamite being serious and BT being very comical.
The Dark Order goes back and forth between comedy and real threat too, all the time. So it's it kind of fits, but I don't know. Like, he's okay. I really like his wrestling. I think his wrestling is really good. He's very crisp and.
Oh yeah, he's a great wrestler. He was nailing those kicks, hitting those moves.
Short guy, but he's buff as hell, and yeah. I don't know about this comedy thing though, but
It was a good
Okay.
match overall.
Yeah.
It did what it needed to do, and it sets up obviously what happened after the match, which you can go into, which I thought was really well done after the match.
I do think
Even if
this.
you don't follow, go ahead.
I do think this next part was very well done. So the Dark
Yeah,
Order comes out, and Uno says, "Whoa, whoa, whoa! Don't worry, Hangman. We're not out here to beat you up. We're not here to jump you, although we have before." He says, he was part of a group, part of the most popular group in all of professional wrestling, and he tried to leave, and he tried to leave. And he's talking about Hangman. He tried to leave. He tried to leave. He tried to leave, and they wouldn't let him leave. And if that's not a cult, I don't know what is. But now he knows that Hangman doesn't have a lot of people to rely on, but they are there for him, and Hangman knows where to find them if he needs them. So yeah, they're gonna try to go on this recruitment
again,
storyline with Hangman, which I think is cool.
but it was excellent. Yeah, the way Uno delivered it was sincere enough that I could really feel that it was like an actual concrete offer,
Yeah,
a sincere offer. And Uno's great on the mic when he comes through like that. He really is kind of their voice of reason, good cop, bad cop kind of thing.
Are we
Yeah.
sure that's the same guy? Because he has lost so much weight.
I'm shocked at how much weight he's lost. And I thought he lost a lot of weight a couple months ago, but now he must have lost like 50 pounds.
He's
Easy.
still losing more and more weight.
Yeah, he must have lost. I don't know. It's got to be close to, maybe even close to 100 by now. Who knows? He lost a ton of weight. Yeah.
On that new keto diet. I don't know. But yeah,
Yeah.
I was when during this when he was talking, I was like, is this really the same guy? did they replace Evil Uno? He's so thin now.
Yeah, the suit looked big on him even.
Yeah.
I was like, oh man, he's lost a ton.
It's great though. Good for him.
Yeah.
So nothing, nothing bad about being healthier and getting in better shape. So
agreed.
So we've got the lineup for tonight. We've got Pac and Rey Fenix versus the Butcher and the Blade and the Bunny, the main event. We've got I can't believe this, but apparently we've got an AEW women's title matchup on AEW Dynamite. Hikaru Shida versus Anna Jay. I have no idea how that happened. Anyway, we've got Powerhouse Hobbs in action. So I guess he's no longer Will Hobbs. He's now going to be known as Powerhouse Hobbs. We've got Chris Jericho and Jake Hager versus SCU, who will be Frankie Kazarian and Christopher Daniels. We've got the Hybrid 2 versus Top Flight. But next, we've got Kenny Omega, who is with Alex Marvez, and he's in a suit and shades, looking like a big, giant dick. He talks about how the more things change, the more they stay the same. A year ago, he was nursing injuries from his match with Jon Moxley, and he was beaten by Jon Moxley, and he admits it. And he says, things stay the same, but the only difference is his Jon Moxley faces on all the magazines. And after the tournament, everybody's talking about how he's returned. The Cleaners has returned, and he's coming for the AEW Championship. And he says that until he gets that AEW Championship, he won't consider himself the best. And he asked Jon Moxley to leave the garbage wrestling at home. It's fine if you pin me, if you submit me, or even if you choke me out, but do it based on your ability. And yes, you are a good guy. And he walks away, but he says, oh, you know what? My dad could beat the shit out of your dad. Going back to what Moxley said last week. Anything you want to add on this one?
That was interesting promo, I guess. He did come off as a huge dick, obviously, with the way he was talking around things. But what was the real nail in the coffin was when he called out Moxley's dad.
Yeah.
I was like, what? Like, I mean, yeah, you're gonna build some heat for sure, but that was kind of out of nowhere. It served what it needed to do. I will mention one thing about you saying that that Will Hobbs is now known as Powerhouse Hobbs. There was a brief second or whatever mention at the beginning of the show when they said Will Hobbs is in action tonight. They said Will Hobbs, and it even said Will Hobbs on the promo card. And then 30 seconds later, they're like, yeah, so Powerhouse Hobbs will be in action. It's like, what? His name changed in the last 30 seconds? I was like, what's going on? Like, this doesn't make any sense.
I did not catch that.
They didn't bring it up. Yeah, it was weird. If you go back, the first time they mentioned Will Hobbs in action, had the promo card and it said Will Hobbs and they called him by name. And literally, he was within a minute or two at most where they're like, yes, and Powerhouse Hobbs will be making an appearance tonight or action or something. It's like, what? Is this a different guy? Because they just said a second ago Will Hobbs is wrestling.
I didn't notice.
Weird.
That, but okay, good catch.
It was just a minor error, but it was one of those things where they just got to be consistent. Because if they're trying to push this guy, we got to know who he is, right? You can't call him two different names on the same show. So yeah.
They're telling us that winter is coming next week. They tell us that Darby Allin and Cody are going to take on Ricky Starks and Powerhouse Hobbs. So in our weekly weird-ass Darby Allin video of the week, he's smashing up the TNT car. He spray paints "Survive If I Let You" on the hood of the car. You know what that's in reference to, right? Oh, okay. So Taz's old ECW catchphrase was "Beat me if you can, survive if I let you."
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So he spray paints "Survive if I let you" on the hood of the car, and then he lights the car on fire. So and this got me thinking, is like, don't you need a permit to do things like this? To just burn a car in the middle of the woods? Don't you need like some kind of permit? Like, hey, we're gonna like be filming something. I'm sure they got it, but that's not the idea. Is that Darby Allin is just doing this shit on his own, right? I mean, I have a feeling
he lives in the middle of nowhere, and he has a huge property that
no
he
one
can do
will
this
find
on.
out. Oh, okay.
Yeah, I mean, but you're right. They probably needed some permit, but
I mean, last week he set a fire in a church, and it's just like, how's he getting away with all this?
Maybe he built that church on his property just to do that.
Maybe.
So yeah, I'm just gonna build a church so I can set a fire in there. I mean, what else are you gonna do with your AEW money, right? If you live in the middle of nowhere, you're gonna make shit up. You're gonna make stuff.
How much money can he possibly have? AEW's only been around a year, and well, I guess I don't know. I don't know. Maybe this all is on his property.
Yeah, he's got a whole town he's gonna wreck. It's like, where is this town that he's destroying? It's like, oh, it's on his property. I get it now. Okay,
Darbyville or whatever.
Yeah.
So we've got Powerhouse Hobbs against Lee Johnson. So there's something I want to say about this, but I'll go to the match first. And he's got a mean looking attitude on his face now, brother. And Will Hobbs just beats him up. The Gun Club heckles him, and Hobbs says it's just business. They say they note that Will Hobbs has got the orange Powerhouse Hobbs. Sorry, he's got the orange and black singlet a la Taz, but on my TV it looked reddish pink and black for some reason. Did it look? Was it orange on your screen?
It was a little off. You're right. Yeah. It was kind of a peach color almost, like a weirdish peachish color on my screen.
It almost looked it looked really pink to me. I wouldn't even go so far as peach, and the colors on everything else didn't seem off. So I don't know, but
it wasn't. Yeah,
that wasn't like an orange,
full on orange, like the belt was, like the FTW belt kind.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Anyway, he beats the crap out of Lee Johnson. He does a falling power slam and gets a 3. I'll let you go first on your thoughts.
It did what it needed to do, but I don't know why we needed to set up Will Hobbs in a squash match this week. I don't know. I mean, with the heat that he like generated with Cody and them, I can totally see why he's gonna wrestle them at Winter is Coming with Ricky Starks. But this didn't really, I don't know. This didn't really build anything. We know Hobbs is a monster already. I don't know. And I honestly feel bad for Lee Johnson. Because he literally just gets thrown to the wolves every couple weeks. He's getting paid. Good for the guy. But
I hope he eventually gets a
win.
Not a win, but like maybe
a decent match.
Some kind of improvement up on the card to where he just doesn't get destroyed.
Yeah, he's like 0-17 or something like that.
he makes progress.
Yeah,
it's one of those things. Yeah, if he's 0-17, like why is he still employed by All Elite Wrestling, right? Like
exactly. I thought wins and losses mattered, right?
Yeah. Anyway, my thoughts on this match was it was a fine match, but man, talk about a guy being miscast. He's got that mean, angry smirk, and it's just like one thing that's good about AEW is that a lot of their on-screen characters, it feels like that's how they are in real life too. And you look at Powerhouse Hobbs, and he's got this mean look, and he's pissed off, and it's like you can tell this is not how he is in real life. You can tell he's kind of like a nice guy and a good guy. So I think he's really miscast here. I don't know what it is, but I mean, he's not that he's terrible being a bad guy, but I think he would be so much better as doing the good guy shtick. Anyway, Taz comes out. He tells Hobb to go celebrate because he's got some business. He has a problem with management that they won't recognize the FTW championship as a legitimate AEW championship. And he won't leave the ring until management makes it mean something. And they cut his mic. He tells Justin Roberts to give him his mic. And he threatens Keith Mitchell and Tony. If they cut his mic, he's going to grab a headset because they won't cut that off. I don't know how that logic works, but okay. But of course, out comes Mr. Hero Cody with his headset on. And he comes out and he says, Taz is done. He says, you're wasting time. And Taz reiterates his request, and he's tired of this shit. So Cody says, you know what? I'll run it up the flagpole. Meaning he's going to go and talk to the upper management about the FTW championship. And Taz talks about the corporate bullshit. You know, he throws all these WWE cheap shots like creative has nothing for me. What are you going to... You're going to wish me great in my future endeavors. And so Cody, he crosses the line. He says, oh yeah? Well, if you're so awesome, Taz, then why is your son, Hook, training with me and not you? And Taz drops the mic and he says, I can't believe you did that. You went too far. And he walks out of the ring. Cody, like a fool, turns his back on him. Taz puts him in the Taz mission, chokes him out, and then the Gun Club run in, and they run off Taz, and then Taz's son teleports in from somewhere. They grab the FTW belt, and they leave. So did you think that was weird like me? Like, they're just talking about Taz's son, and the next thing you know, he's at ringside holding the FTW belt. I was like...
I didn't get that at all. It's like, who is that? Is that his son? And they said it about 2 seconds after I thought it. It's like, why is he here? Where did he come from?
But, right? It seemed like he just teleported in. Like, oh, they're talking about me on Dynamite. Better go in. Boom.
Better make an appearance, right? That didn't need to happen. I didn't get that at all.
Like, I didn't think it was bad. I just thought it was funny. I was like, oh, he's just there all of a sudden. Like, he somehow dodged all the cameras and got to the FTW championship without anybody seeing it.
It wasn't bad, but it was weird. And the weird thing about it is, like, if you're that kid, okay, I mean, I know this is just part of what they're pushing here, but if you're that kid, talk about the most awkward moment on TV in your life. Your trainer, your coach just talks shit to your dad about why he's training with you instead of your dad. How does that make you feel, right? It's like, oh shit. And now you got to go out there with your dad and be on his side. Talk about an awkward situation, right? It's like, I was like, oh great. This is going to be fun. This is going to be a fun dinner.
That should be his character though, that he can teleport into places.
So what do you think about this segment, like at the end there? So my thoughts were, I kind of get why Taz is pushing that he wants the FTW belt to be more than what it is.
It was kind of a weird, like, breaking the fourth wall, but not really breaking the fourth wall kind of thing.
Yeah.
Like, they're breaking the fourth wall as Cody's coming out as his EVP role, and, you know, Taz is telling him he crossed the line going too far. But we know this is not real. We know that this is still part of the storyline. But it's supposed to be like Cody really went off script or whatever. Like, I didn't really think too much of it, to be honest.
I don't. So the one issue I had with it was the fact that not anything that Taz was talking about or what he was doing. Well, let me take that back. I do have some small issue with what Taz is doing because the FTW belt was literally something he handed to Brian Cage.
Yeah.
Brian Cage never wrestled for it. It's just like, hey, guess what, man? You're the baddest man in the world or whatever. Here's your belt. And now he wants to be
Yay.
legitimate. It's like it's kind of too late for that, Taz. Like, you just gave it to the guy. But that aside, the one issue I had with this is, what are they doing with Cody? Are they trying to make him a heel in this fight now? Because I
don't
feel
know.
bad. I actually feel bad for Taz. I'm actually rooting for Team Taz in this now.
Really?
Yeah, because like Cody made it personal.
Oh, because
Yeah, which is odd. Like, because before that I was like, oh, Team Taz is, they're the dicks. They're the heels in this matchup. Now it's like, I don't know, man. Cody's pulling some shit here too.
Shouldn't have talked about his son and shit, right?
Yeah. I guess they want you to be confused when you go into this match. I don't know. Because I'm like, go Team Taz now.
So we've got Eddie Kingston is in the back with Alex Marvez, and Alex asks him about the Death Triangle, and Eddie says he's not really mad. He's just really disappointed in Penta. He says Phoenix is a showboat, so he expected from him, and he starts running down Pac, and then Moxley shows up. He says absolutely nothing, but they just stare at each other, gets in his face for a second, and Eddie Kingston says, "It wasn't me. I got my own stuff going on. You know who it was, and you got your own stuff to deal with, champ." And Moxley walks off. So I thought this was very good. This was very good. I like how Mox just didn't even say anything, just walked up to him, stared him in the face, and it just wasn't me. What? And then he walked off.
That was so well done, considering that not much was said.
Yeah. The tension.
He came off camera. Yeah, he came off camera, and I was so confused because I was like, "Is this Pac interrupting the interview?" And then it was Mox, and the way that Eddie Kingston just trailed off without losing focus on the camera was so good. Like, he didn't look at Mox. He's like, "What the fuck are you doing here?" He's like, "Yeah," and oh man, he's just kind of like was deflated. It's like, I'm kind of in the middle of something right now. Can you give me a minute? That was a perfect setup.
So up next, we've got Top Flight versus the Hybrid 2. And they show a clip of Top Flight attacking the Hybrid 2 to get some revenge on Dark last night. But they make their entrance, and the first thing I notice is that, at least this is the first time I've seen him, Angelico doesn't have that ridiculous bodysuit anymore. He looks...
Oh, yeah, you're right.
He looks much more... I take him much more seriously now. So
yeah, I guess maybe this is the first time they debuted it. I don't know. They might have debuted it on Dark, but you're right. He didn't have that. I didn't notice that until you said it. He didn't have that bodysuit anymore.
Yeah. So Angelico starts off with Darius. They do some chain wrestling. Darius gets the better of it, and they go back and forth. And nothing really big going on. They go to a break. Back from the break, Darius tags in. He goes wild on Jack and sends Angelico outside. He does a shotgun diving drop kick, and there was Jack Evans and Darius in the ring, and it seems like they were off or something, because Jack Evans actually throws Darius back into his own corner, and they kind of look like, okay, what do we do? Okay, what do we do? And so that part was really weird. There was an enziguri onto Jack on the apron, and he falls off the apron, hits Angelico. Then Top Flight does a back-to-back dives. Dante hits a frog splash on Evans for 2. The Hybrid 2 do a combo 450. That also gets a 2. Angelico tries for a Razor's Edge, but he gets rolled up in a sunset flip for a 2. Darius goes for a dive. Eventually, Evans smacks him on the floor, and I don't know the name of this move, but was it called the Navarro Deathlock?
Yeah, that's what I got from it.
So Angelico does the Navarro Deathlock onto Darius, and he gets a tap out win for this. I thought this was a cool ass looking move. Kind of does a reverse figure 4, then rolls through.
That would hurt. That looks like it would hurt.
Yeah, almost kind of an Indian Deathlock, but not quite. It kind of looks like it's upside down. Go watch it if you really want to know. It's a cool looking move. Anyway, after the match, he doesn't break the hold, and the Young Bucks come out and run off the hybrid too. What's so
I don't know why
funny?
that was funny. The Young Bungza.
The Young Bucks. But this was actually the funniest part of the night for me. Did you see it? Did you laugh?
What was the funniest part?
When the Young Bucks come out and they're all pissed off and they run off the hybrid too, and Matt Jackson takes off his jacket and he goes on the top rope and he throws it at the hybrid too, and then Adam Cole just catches it and then he takes it and they walk off. So he just took Matt Jackson's jacket.
That was pretty funny.
And it wasn't like a AEW logo jacket or anything. It looked like Matt Jackson's own personal jacket that he wore to the arena.
Thanks.
He just caught thanks for the jacket. And he just walks off. I don't know why, but I was rolling at this part.
That was pretty funny, actually. Now that you mention it, I did have a chuckle. It's like he just caught the jacket. And he's running away with it.
Because I didn't notice at first. I just saw him catch the jacket first because I was just watching the action. And then I went back and I was like, did he throw like Angelico's jacket at him? No, he threw his jacket at Angelico.
That's kind of a weird thing to do, right?
Yeah.
It's like you're so pissed off at somebody, you're going to throw your own clothes at them.
Yeah.
It's like, it's not really going to go well if he takes it.
But yeah, he just catches it and just walks off with it. I hope it becomes a storyline. Like next week is like, Matt and Nick come on, you stole my jacket.
He does a promo where it's just the jacket, and then it turns around. It's like, oh hey, I didn't see you there, Alex. You like my new jacket? I got it from Matt. Actually, he just talks shit about it. It's really comfortable. Actually, it's really nice. Yeah, the leather.
I don't think they'll do it, but that would be great if they did. So we've got Nyla and Vicky backstage and talking crap about Brandy Rhodes and talking about nepotism and Big Swole and Serena Deeb and Red Velvet all getting jobs because of Brandy. And Brandy got beat up by Jade and blah, blah, blah. Brandy Rhodes' business plan is a setup for failure. And Nyla and Vicky just laugh. I thought this was kind of,
Yeah, I'm with you. I was zoning out. I was like, what? What?
Like I remember Brandy being associated with Red Velvet, but I don't remember her being associated with Big Swole and Serena Deeb.
Yeah, it was kind of a stretch. Just because they came to help her, now they're somehow like cronies of Brandy, I guess.
Are they with Jade, or is Jade part of the Vicky Guerrero group? Or
well, they were keeping the refs back, right?
I saw that, but they didn't. But I mean, did they cement and tell us for sure? Oh yeah, she's part of Team Vicky Guerrero now. Or
are you gonna join Team Vicious Vixens or not?
Do you want me to join Vicious Vixens?
Do you want to join the Vicious Vixens?
Do you want me to join the Vicious Vixens?
Do you want to join the Vicious Vixens?
They should do it. They should do that too. A storyline.
Yeah, that'd be pretty funny. I thought you're right. I thought this promo had nothing to do with anything.
This is coming off the Full Gear pay-per-view where after Nyla lost to Shida, Vicky was yelling at her, and it seemed like they were splitting up, but they're just now back together to laugh at Brandy. Like, okay.
Yeah, talk about, I don't know, confusing is about the least I can say about this, but I can say a lot more, and we should just leave it at that. We'll see where this goes.
So up next, there was another weird one for me. FTR is talking with Tully Blanchard, and Cash says this was the worst night of their life, losing to the Young Bucks. Dak says, he hates to admit it, but for 3 seconds, they were the best. They were the better tag team. And Tully says it's their destiny to be the next AEW Tag Team Champs and fear the revelation. So what I thought was weird about this is that it seemed like they were talking as if they had never won the AEW Tag Team Championships before, because they were all talking about like, oh, it's our destiny and we're going to be the next tag team champs. They never talked about how they were going to normally they would say things like, we're gonna get our titles back, right? Or it's like,
Mhm.
it was a fluke. We're the champs. We're gonna take them back. But no, they just talk like we're the next champs. It's their destiny. It's like, are they like forgetting that they were the champs or something? So I thought this was really weird. I don't know. What did you think about this one?
I I'm pretty much in the same boat with you. I didn't get the way that they were talking about. They were almost talking in the past tense. Like this was 2 months
No,
ago before they got the belts, or 3 months before they got the belts. Like
no,
you
they
said,
were
like
they were talking as if they never had the belts before.
that's what I'm saying. Like they were talking like they never won the belts to begin with. Like you said, like we're gonna be the next tag team champs. It's like, what? Like you guys were the tag team champs. Shouldn't you be talking about, like you said, getting your belts back? It
Yeah,
was odd. It was very odd. I get what they're saying, but the way that they went about talking about it, you'd think they never won the belts, like you said. And I don't know. It could have been done so much better considering
yeah.
what they've been through, the history they have with the Bucks. It was just really weirdly framed.
Yeah, I don't
And
think it was bad. It was just like, huh? Did they forget were already the champs or something?
I don't know how they're gonna set this up too. Like, I guess they're gonna be the number one contenders against the Bucks.
I
They're gonna
don't
have a
think I don't think they're gonna go.
straight away to
Yeah,
that.
I mean maybe at the next pay-per-view, but that's coming at what, in like February.
Yeah,
So I don't. I
Revolution was
think
in February.
it seems like the Bucks are gonna be wrestling with the hybrid too, and I think FTR is probably gonna have their own little feud with somebody else before that. If they do, if they are gonna go back to FTR and the Young Bucks in February for the next pay-per-view. I mean,
Yeah.
I really want to see this Matt Jackson jacket storyline.
Man, they should totally build that into the storyline now. It was completely unplanned, but they're like,
And
freaking
and
Jack Evans
Helico
should
just
just,
has
all
his
right,
jacket.
Helico should just come out with the jacket
He
every
just
time
wears the
now.
jacket everywhere.
So good. So good.
So up next, we've got Chris Jericho and Jake Hager versus SCU, Frankie Kazarian, and Christopher Daniels. And they mention that although Daniels and Jericho have a combined almost 58 years of professional wrestling experience, they have never wrestled in a match together, either with or against each other. That's pretty
Pretty
amazing.
insane.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I'm sure these guys probably wanted to wrestle each other at one point or for a long time. And I was thinking, man, a Christopher Daniels and Chris Jericho match, had they done it years ago when they were both in their prime, would have been pretty damn awesome. But not that they're not awesome still, but man, in their prime would have been a banger. But
Yeah.
the Inner Circle come out. They're wearing their new Inner Circle shirts that I did not see on shopaew.com earlier today when I was doing my Black Friday shopping. I don't know why. Did you see it?
I could have swore they said it was on Jericho's site.
Oh, so they weren't selling it on
Yeah.
Shop Maybe. I didn't
Yeah.
know. Okay. Anyway,
Haymaker site or something. I forgot.
anyway, they all come out. MJF and Wardlow's with them too. MJF and Santana are buddies, and they're jaw jacking with the gun club on the outside. And Daniels and Jericho started off, and they eventually isolate Frankie. Jericho chokes Kazarian in the corner while the ref is distracted. Sammy can't see it, of course. And so they announce during this match that next week we're going to have the Diamond Battle Royal, and MJF and Sammy will be in it. So does that mean MJF have to give up his ring? Are they going to have another ring, the Diamond Ring, or what's
I'm
the deal here?
confused. Yeah.
I
It looks
mean,
like Wardlow is in it too, right?
I didn't freeze the picture to go look it through everybody. But yeah, maybe. But Santana grabs Daniel's leg from the outside. It leads to a big, nice power slam by Jake Hager. He sends Daniels to the outside, and the Inner Circle stomp him as we go to a break. And now we're back from a break. They're beating up Daniels. He eventually gets the tag into Kazarian, and Kazarian runs wild. Ortiz gets on the apron. Kazarian takes him out, and he goes outside. He fights with Santana. He fights with Sammy. He beats up all those jerks. He gets back in, and Jericho cuts him off. So Daniels tags in. He hits a dive onto Hager On the outside, he does a crossbody off the top rope on Jericho for a 2. Jericho tags in and Hager wipes out Daniels, but he gets a diving flatliner. He hits the BME, but Jericho breaks it up. And while Aubrey and the one, they all get into a big fight, and while Aubrey is trying to get Kazarian out of the ring, MJF cracks Daniels in the face with the ring, turns around, Jericho hits him with the Judas effect, and Hager covers him for the 3. So the Inner Circle get the big win here. How did you like this match?
It was good. I wish it was a little bit longer. I wish there was actually more spots, I guess. Because I know that, Daniels, Kazarian, and Jericho can wrestle. Hager's pretty good, but
Hager's very good. I think Hager's very good for what he does.
I just wish there was more to it, I guess. I knew the Inner Circle was going to have some kind of interference in the outcome, and I was 99% sure they were going to win because of it. So it did what it needed to do. I just wish there was more. I thought it could have been a longer match. There could have been more to it.
I would go to say this was probably my match of the night. Just because, I think they had the added advantage of having it being, Christopher Daniels and Jericho's first match together. So it's kind of like, oh wow, this is like a big moment. This is their first ever match against each other. It's crazy. So I liked it. I thought this was a good one. Like you see, I probably could have gone a little bit longer too.
I'd give it the match of the night. Yeah, I'd say that too. This was my favorite match of the night. The criticisms aren't with the match itself. I just wish it was just more, which is something that maybe they'll address later. We'll see. But the follow up to the match was funny.
So after the match, poor sport Frankie Kazarian punches, cheap shots MJF like an idiot. Well, the whole Inner Circle is there. So they beat him up, and so they're
Daniels.
and Daniels.
Daniels is out.
Yeah, all of the Inner Circle are beating the crap out of SCU, and Scorpio comes out with a chair, and he runs off the Inner Circle.
Bucket, yeah.
And this next part, here we go. Here we fucking go. Kip and Miro's new segment, the video game extravaganza. So they're in like some kind of room, a trailer, I guess, and I guess it's supposed to be about video games, but we never find out because in comes Orange Cassidy. He turns off the TV and he walks out. And at this point,
he turns off the console. He doesn't turn off the TV.
Okay, but
yeah,
at this point, all Orange does is he's turned off the Xbox. And he walks out of the room. So Miro and Kip are like, hey, what the hell, dude? Why did you do that? And they want an explanation. So they walk out to find out why Orange did this. And the best friends sneak attack them. Miro and Kip. They do a double power bomb on Kip into a porta potty. And then Miro grabs the camera and yells, "Get out of the way!" And that's the end of the segment. So I ask anyone listening, or anyone who does listen, explain to me how the best friends are supposed to be good guys.
Yeah, this was, I don't know. So much to unpack here, but this was the worst segment this was actually worse than the Vicious Vixen segment, honestly. Like, if they're trying to push the best friends as good guys, it's hard to see it that way. They should really be called the worst friends. Honestly.
I want Miro to break both of their backs. Like, just do the Bane on Batman thing to the both of them. Not Orange, but the best friends. How are these guys supposed to? How are these guys supposed to be likable to anyone? I don't get it.
Yeah, I don't either, man. This from the beginning, this whole rivalry has been completely, I don't know, completely undercooked, completely sideways to me. They destroyed some freaking arcade machine on the side, and
it started off as like a major flip out over a video game arcade machine. Not even a real video game either.
And it just keeps going from there, and it's like, we need to kill this freaking rivalry, man, or come up with a better reasoning for it. I don't know.
Or at least make Miro and Kip the bad guys.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
make us want or switch it around or something, because it's like, how are the best friends supposed to be the people I'm supposed to be cheering for in this? Because I really am Miro. I'm not necessarily Kip because he's kind of a tool, but I really like Miro. He's done nothing wrong in this whole thing. He bought an arcade machine for Kip. They broke it. They wouldn't apologize. They keep attacking them. It's like, if I was Miro, I want Miro to just destroy these two clowns.
I have a feeling exactly what we're talking about and how we feel about it is the reason that this will go on for a very long time. Hopefully. I would not be surprised if this goes into next year with this rivalry still.
So, up next, we've got a contract signing. And they announced that Kenny Omega is a Wrestling Observer Hall of Fame. He was voted into the Wrestling Observer Hall of Fame. Blah, blah, blah. Keep talking about the Wrestling Observer Hall of Fame. But unlike the Wrestling Observer Hall of Fame, the NASCAR Hall of Fame is in North Carolina. North Carolina! And during his entrance, you can see his silhouette in the back. And then that silhouette gets attacked from behind.
But wait.
And it's Jon Moxley. And he beats the crap out of Kenny Omega. And they fight down to the ring. And he hits Kenny Omega into a paradigm shift onto the title. And one of the best small but awesome moments is he calls Shivani for the mic. And Shivani's like, I don't want to get near you. He's like scared shitless of Jon Moxley. But he eventually walks over and gives him the mic. So he says, right now I don't know who you hired. He's talking to Kenny, by the way. Jon Moxley's talking to Kenny. I don't know who you hired, but they did a poor job because he's still walking. He knows a couple guys from Philly that do good work if he ever needs, if Kenny ever needs to put a hit on somebody again. And he thought this beef was squashed, but then he went and pissed him off. But he considers us even now. And the only way for you to win, Kenny, is for you to become the Kenny Omega that everyone thinks you are, and he has to beat Mox. And he says, the two best tango for the world title. I love this shit. Winter's coming for you, Kenny. This is not a game or jokes. On BTE or Dancing Girls with Brooms, you come at the king, you best not miss. Steady your aim and take your shot. I don't know how many HBO references there was in this little interview by Jon Moxley, but there was a ton. But nonetheless, fantastic segment. Everything Moxley does is, he's like Jericho. Everything he touches turns to gold, and I love it. Second best wrestler in the universe right now.
That was excellent. They did a good job of setting this up, better than what they did last week, honestly. And I'm really looking forward. I was looking forward to this match because it's got to be great, because we're talking about two of the best wrestlers in the world right now. But now I'm really looking forward to it. The hype is going to be up there. I wonder if we'll find out who really attacked Moxley in the back too, though. We'll see.
Yeah. So the two names I've heard, one was Kenta, which is about 99.99999% not likely, and the other one is Lance Archer. However, after the events of later on tonight, spoiler, I don't know about Lance Archer. So
yeah, I mean, it would be weird. Kenny can't be in two places at once unless we're talking about Taz's son Hook, doing a teleportation attack on Moxley.
Okay, so there was a third name that I heard of and thought would be kind of interesting. Would be Hangman.
I read that rumor too.
Yeah. And you were the one who I saw it too, but you had told me about that tarot card thing.
Yeah,
about the Hangman. I was like, if you don't know what they're talking about, so the last week when Jon Moxley was beaten up and his legs were positioned in a certain way, somebody posted on Reddit. It's like, look, if you look at the tarot card of the Hangman, the Hangman's legs are positioned the same way Moxley's legs were, and that's kind of a stretch. But you never know. I mean, that could be the thing.
It could be a sign to it. It might not be nothing, but it was crazy that somebody caught that reference.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah. So
I don't know.
Maybe they did it to throw us off. They could do that too. To be like, yeah, we wanted you to think it was Hangman, but
so
you caught it. Yeah.
Do you have a guess as to who it was?
I honestly don't. I mean, Hangman, I guess, makes as much sense as anything. But yeah, I don't know. It's not Kingston. Like you said, Archer seems odd. That
Well,
it
after
would
what
be.
happens later tonight, it seems kind of odd.
Yeah, definitely. I don't know. It's a good mystery, I guess. We'll find out. Maybe they'll never talk. Maybe they'll never resolve it. I don't know. Maybe it was Kenny. But
Did we
it's
ever get
odd.
the
Yeah,
Lance Archer John Moxley match?
we did.
We did.
And yeah, we did. We did. It was on Dynamite, I think. Wasn't
Yeah.
it?
What was that? What was
Yeah.
the ending to that match?
Uh, I know. Well, obviously Mox won. Gosh,
I
I
don't
think he
even
put him through a
remember.
table or something. I think he put him through a table.
That's right. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, it was they were going back and forth, if I remember correctly, over a table, and then finally Mox was the one that got the move on Archer,
Yeah.
and he pulled it out from
So that
there.
was kind of a definitive victory, but I guess they could go back to it. But yeah.
Moxley has his fair share of enemies,
He does
so
have his fair
but
share of enemies. But
but every one of them is involved in something else right now. So
yeah. But it really would make a lot of sense if it was Kenta, because oh man, I gotta break character. But Kenta has the IWGP US Heavyweight Championship briefcase on him. He's also part of
Hmm.
he's part of Bullet Club, which Kenny Omega was a part of. He was the leader, in fact. And there's a very big show in the Tokyo Dome coming up next in January, so it would make a lot of sense if it was Kenta, but I very, very, very. But although storyline wise, it would make a lot of sense if it was Kenta, but I don't think it's
that
gonna.
would
I don't think it's gonna be him.
that would be pretty cool because it would really bring everything full circle between obviously AEW and New Japan,
Yeah,
and it would be completely unexpected. I don't know where. I mean, the fact that you're bringing it up, the connection, but it would be a pretty awesome way to introduce the fact that, hey, there's a lot more going on here than just AEW. You know what I
yeah.
mean?
There's a
So
larger world.
yeah, that would be awesome. We'll see. We'll see. Maybe they'll, yeah, maybe they'll bring it up if and when Moxley goes to Japan to defend the belt. They'll be like, by the way, Mox, it was me. It was me all along.
We've got Alex Marvez in the back, and he's gonna interview Jericho. But MJF grabs the mic, and he says, "What kind of coward attacks a man?" And gives him a cheap shot. I'll tell you who, Frankie Kazarian. And Jericho gets on the mic and he says, all the fun and games are done. Next week, it's going to be Jericho versus Frankie Kazarian in a match. And did you notice that in keeping with tradition, in the background, Hager and Wardlow are just staring at each other?
I did. Even though it was hard to tell because they were, three rows back.
Yeah.
They did not take their eyes off one another at all. I was like, dang, this has been going on for since the beginning, months.
It's so awesome because it's subtle and it's never brought up.
Yeah.
But it's there. You just gotta read between the lines and it's there.
I loved MJF pulling a Jericho. Well, MJF does pull Jericho's a lot, but the whole Jericho completely being hypocritical and avoiding the issue at hand.
Yeah.
What kind of man does a cheap shot on another man? Isn't that what you did earlier in the night?
Yep.
So what kind of man attacks someone else's eye? Sorry, that was a call.
What kind of guy what kind of wrestler wears a scarf? From way back.
Yeah, another callback.
So this next part gotta be, this is probably my second favorite match of the night, but it was the best part of the night because we get an AEW women's match. That's right, 2 women on the AEW roster are going to wrestle on AEW Dynamite. This was the greatest thing I've ever seen in my life. Hikaru Shida versus Anna Jay for the AEW Women's Championship. And they do a video package about AEW women. and about Anna Jay and how she's learned from their last match. And now she's got the Dark Order and Ty Conti, right?
Tay Conti.
Tay Conti.
Ty Conti. Tay Conti. Ty
I-
Conti. Yeah, something.
Tay Conti
Yeah.
helping her out, and Shida talks about how it's about heart. This is great. A video package about 2 AEW women. Unheard of on this show, but still so awesome. So unexpected. The Dark Order come out and they're watching from the ramp. And immediately, Anna Jay goes for a sleeper hold. And I guess this is her move. They mentioned this is the move that took out Brandy, and she's calling it the Queen Slayer. But Anna Jay then blocks a running knee from Shida while she was lying on the apron, and Anna takes control. Then we go to a break. And when we come back from a break, Anna Jay is still in control, and she hits a neck breaker, and she tells Tay Conti to get a chair. And Rick Knox takes it away from her. And while Rick Knox is distracted getting rid of the chair, John Silver gives Anna the kendo stick, and Anna whacks Shida in the knee, and then goes for the Queen Slayer. And at this point, we're like, oh man, is she going to win the AEW Championship off this? But she does not. Shida rolls through, and then it's a brainbuster, but Anna counters it for a 2. And then Shida hits a straight jacket German suplex for a 2. Eventually, she hits the Tamashi knee strike for the 3. And this was a very good match. I like the match. What did you think of the match?
It was pretty good. But I'm leaning towards the side that Anna Jay is a little green to be featured right now. I don't know. I could be wrong. I felt like there was some missed spots.
Really? I thought she was fine. I thought she was okay.
It was good for what it was. I'm very glad, like you said, that AEW is actually pushing their women's division for what, the first time in the last 5 weeks, 6 weeks. It's so it's good in that regard. And I was almost surprised that it looked like for a second there they were going to give it to Anna Jay too with the kendo stick hit. I was like, whoa, this would be a shock. So we'll see where it goes. They definitely need to continue doing this though. The NWA women's division should be, a once in a quarter kind of thing. You know what I mean? Maybe once every 6 matches, not the other way around. Yeah. So
this next part. Oh,
I was gonna say
this next part. I was so ready for this. I'm so happy because we get music. We don't know who it is, but it's none other than Abaddon, who, for whatever reason, really gets in Anna Jay's shit all the time. But Anna Jay is gone. So Abaddon crawls out, and Shida is scared shitless for some reason. She's like, she's on the ground, backing away from Abaddon. Abaddon grabs the belt and licks it. And then Shida has the same face that Jericho had when Orange Cassidy was talking about rising sea levels. Cause she's just like, oh my god! She has the biggest shocked face in the world. It's like, really? So other than the fact that Abaddon was awesome, I thought it was really stupid that Shida is just scared of her for why? She's the AEW Women's champion. Why is she scared of Abaddon?
I hope they set up the reasoning for that more. But I gotta give JR props for the line of the night when Abaddon kissed or licked the belt. He was disgusted. He's like, oh my goodness. And it was said so sincerely, because I was cringing in my house. I was like, oh, and he was like, oh my goodness. He didn't expect that to happen. And it's like, oh god.
Yeah. But it looks like we are gonna get Abaddon versus Hikaru Shida, and I give that a thumbs up.
That'll be interesting where that goes.
I'm very excited about this. Although Abaddon is
gonna lose.
No, he might win. I don't want either of them to lose. I like both of these girls.
Has Abaddon ever crowded promo? I don't think so, right?
Not that I've seen.
Yeah. So
the only time I've ever seen her was that time, because I don't watch Dark. The only time I've ever seen her
where
is
she whacked
that
Anna
time
Jay.
when she destroyed Anna Jay, where they had that big video package about Anna Jay, and Anna Jay, she's so awesome, and she came out with her like new like Zatanna outfit, and then just Abaddon just waxed her in like a minute. So and that was like, they need to do this every week on Dynamite. Have Abaddon
That was
just
such a
destroy
bait and
someone.
switch. That was completely unexpected when they did that.
So then we've got the iconic Matt Hardy, and I guess he's got a new persona. And it is his duty to inspire. If he can overcome the odds, then so can you, and you can overcome your pedestrian hardships and survive, strive, and win. It's like, okay, cool. Matt Hardy is always, his personas are always entertaining and good, but more bad guys. AEW.
Yeah.
Really?
That was a really dickish turn on his part. I was like, what? Do we really need him to be a heel?
Do we really need more bad guys on this show?
Yeah, unless you got that vibe too, right? I was like, this is totally something.
Pretty sure he's supposed to be a bad guy.
Yeah.
In this, yeah.
Oh, you can get through your pedestrian hardships. It's like,
I mean, I'm wondering how this affects Private Party now, but yeah,
that's true. Yeah, that's a good question. Maybe they're going bad too.
Yeah. So then they talk about the Battle Royal again, and next week Darby Allin and Cody is against Ricky Starks and Powerhouse Hobbs. And then they go to a interview with Team Taz. They say that Taz has left the building, and Starks is pissed. And he says, "Cody, you crossed the line, and we love it here in AEW. We love Tony. He pays us well. He puts us in main events, and he puts us in big matches. And Cody has made things personal." And yeah, they're just pissed off about Cody. But one thing I want to say about this is they complained about, they said they love AEW and they love Tony and he puts us in main events and big matches. Like, wasn't that Team Taz's gripe a couple weeks ago, is that they weren't getting big matches and main events because Brian Cage was a #1 contender and he never got a title shot, and Ricky Starks was on like a 10-match winning streak and he's not even on Dynamite? Wasn't that their big complaint a few weeks ago, is that they weren't getting the respect they deserve? But now it's all their anger is just directed at Cody. So, whatever. What did you think?
That's a good point. I didn't have so much problems with the segment or the promo, like you said.
No, I liked it. It just...
Yeah. But you bring up a good point.
Inconsistent.
You bring up a good point. The very thing that they were railing against, not that long ago, within the last month for sure, they're on the flip side of now, which is odd. Because nothing's changed. They were on one match last week. That's it. Mm-hmm. And now they're in all the big matches. I don't know. I like Team Taz overall, but I'm wondering where they're going with this. We'll see. Yeah. So, too many bad guys, like you said, maybe.
Too many bad guys.
Yeah.
Too many mind. No mind. So, also on Winter is Coming, we've got Britt Baker versus Layla Hirsch, and Jon Moxley, of course, defending the title against Kenneth Omega. But in our main event tonight for Dynamite, we've got Phoenix and Pac versus the Butcher and the Blade and the Bunny. And Eddie Kingston comes out and he's on commentary. And the Death Triangle make their entrance with big old entrance with pyro. They do their pose. They're looking all cool. But then the Butcher and the Blade attack them on the ramp. And Butcher tosses Phoenix into the ring. And it just so happens Bryce Remberg is the referee of this match.
This is totally on purpose.
Eddie Kingston's conspiracy theories are like so true. It just so happens Bryce Remberg is the ref for every single match with himself or any of the Kingston family. Which is amazing. Another subtle yet intriguing storyline. So of course, in this matchup, Rey Fenix is spectacular. He does a tope con hilo, and Pac does a moonsault at the same time to the outside of the Butcher and the Blade. They go to break. Back from the break, and we've got the action going back. Pac is in control of the Blade. Phoenix hits a lethal injection on the Blade, Pac does a bunch of nice kicks. He does a single leg drop kick enziguri, Northern Light suplex for a 2. He does a shooting star press by Pac, but Blade moves out of the way, then gets a power slam to tag in the Butcher. Butcher hits a nice big lariat, but that gets a 2. Hits a Dr. Bomb by Blade on to Pac. Phoenix makes the save. Eddie Kingston comes down to the ring and knocks Ray Phoenix from the top rope. The B&B do a powerbomb neckbreaker combo, and they take the win. This was a pretty good match. What did you think?
Yeah, it was pretty good. It served its purpose. I don't know if it lived up to the SCU and the Jericho Hager match, but it was good. I wish there was a couple more spots, I guess. But I guess, they needed to close out the show. I get it. Because we know Phoenix and Pac can pull off some moves, and we know Butcher and Blade are the powerhouse guys. I just wish we'd see more of the clash in styles, I guess, between the two of them.
Okay.
But it was a good match. It was good. Solid.
Were you surprised? Because I was kind of surprised that Butcher and Blade actually won.
No, I actually thought I thought they should have won.
Really?
Because Butcher lost to Pac last week.
Blade
and this would look
lost to
bad if
Pac.
they just... I'm sorry, you're right. Blade lost to Pac last week. And it would look bad if they just keep on losing to these guys. There's no rivalry there, You can't have a rivalry if one team's always on the losing end.
Okay. Yeah, so. I thought Pac and Phoenix were gonna win, but that dumb.
No, I mean it could have gone either way. We'll see how this goes. This is gonna last a while, I think, because there's a lot of competing storylines here, right?
I think it's
Kingston with Penta, Penta with Phoenix, Pac against Kingston. Who knows, right?
I think it goes, and this is kind of a good point as to why the Butcher and Blade did win, is because they're the established tag team, and Phoenix and Pac are not. Whereas I think if it was Phoenix and Penta against B&B, I think definitely the Lucha Bros should have won. But because it was like a mix, Phoenix and Pac, and they're not necessarily
on the same page.
They're not necessarily a established tag team, and that's why they losing. But yeah,
that's a good point.
The action does not end with the match though, because after the match, unlike the Inner Circle, who was totally justified with beating up SCU after that cheap shot after the match, the Death Triangle did nothing to get the beatdown that Eddie Kingston and the boys put on them. So Eddie is beating up Pac. He hits a DDT on the chair, and he does another one, and then music starts playing. And who is it? Then none other than Lance Archer. And he takes out the Blade, and he does a double cross body onto Butcher and Eddie. And the Death Triangle and Butcher and the Blade start fighting. They start fighting back. Lance Archer goes after Eddie Kingston, but Eddie bails. And the announcers talk about how this goes all the way back to the Battle Royal when Lance Archer eliminated Eddie Kingston. Which, from what I heard, Eddie Kingston was never eliminated from the Battle Royal. So, I don't know. But I don't think this was bad, but I just thought it was kind of like Lance Archer. Of all the people, all the people to save the Death Triangle, I would have not guessed Lance Archer, but it's cool. I guess it was kind of like a thing where Eddie Kingston was mocking Jake the Snake by doing all those DDTs. Of course, Jake the Snake Roberts, the inventor, innovator, and master of the DDT. So I think that's what they were trying to do with that. But yeah, good little, and that's the end of Dynamite. But a good little ending segment. What are your thoughts?
That was odd. I was in the same boat with you. I didn't know whose music that was. I was like, whose music is this? And that's Lance Archer. I was like, this has got to be a mistake. And for a split second, I honestly didn't know who he was going to attack. I figured he was going to attack Kingston and them. But again, because it's Lance Archer.
You don't know.
Yeah, is he going to attack everybody in the ring?
Lance Archer is more likely to just attack everybody, too, right?
Yeah, is he just going to attack everybody just to prove that, hey, I'm still here?
And maybe he would have had he had enough time.
Yeah, maybe.
What would have been cool is if he came out while his music played, and while he was walking out, he was carrying Sunny Kiss and Joey Janela. And then he just dumps them. And then he starts attacking Eddie Kingston.
He's just trying to get the whole roster against
Yeah.
him. He's got the whole roster on notice. Yeah. So it was odd. I didn't really have issue with it, I guess. It's cool. It sets up something more, but now you've got, I guess, 3 competing rivalries here, unless he's going to team with that triangle in some way. We'll see. One thing I will say, though, is as much as I love Eddie Kingston, sometimes I feel he's a little overexposed. I didn't feel that way today. Or I'm sorry, I didn't feel that way on Wednesday's Dynamite, but he's got to be batting like 500 for closing out Dynamite shows in the last like 3 months, huh?
What do you mean?
Like every other Dynamite he's closing out, or he's associated with closing out in some way, right? If you think about it, like it's always Eddie Kingston's closing it out, or Butcher and the Blade, and he's there, or Lucha Brothers, and he's there, you know.
I
So
guess so. Yeah, I think if anything, he needs to tone it down on commentary. Like this whole thing of where he hates Tony Schiavone. It's like, okay, just talk about the damn match. Like he's kind of distracting on commentary, and in a different way from Jericho. Whereas like he has some good points and he says some funny things, but sometimes like it's just like, stop talking, Eddie. Like enough.
Yeah, I can see that. Yeah, that's a good point. Because if he keeps doing that, why would AEW management keep allowing him to be on the commentary desk, right?
Yeah.
It kind of takes away from the reality of it, Because they'd be like, dude, all you do is talk shit about the other announcers. We can't have you out there, So that's a good point.
Yeah.
Well,
So
hopefully,
okay, go ahead.
they fix it in some way. But yeah, I'm done.
So this is
Go
what
ahead.
we were talking about earlier about we don't think that it's necessarily Lance Archer who attacked Mox because now he's in this program with Eddie Kingston. So, I mean, I don't know. It could always still be him, but I just don't know. I don't know. I would after tonight, what he did looks like he's gonna be feuding with Eddie Kingston and the boys. So I don't know.
Eddie Kingston and the boys.
He might not be him. Might not be Lance Archer, but you never know. You never know. So, do you have any actual guesses on who it should? Who? I'm thinking it might be like a new wrestler.
Maybe.
Seth Rollins. No, it's it's 1,000% sure not going to be Seth Rollins, but
Renee Young, his wife.
It was me all along. You're never home.
Yeah. She attacked him out of spite, saying like, "Listen, you gotta stop this shit. You gotta be home now."
Yeah, I'm pregnant. You gotta stay home. Stop this like thumbnails and barbed wire shit.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I don't really have any. Guesses. I really don't know. I want to be surprised, I guess. That whole Kenta thing you brought up, that would be an amazing reveal, because, like you said, it proves the world is a lot bigger than AEW, and it does a good job of pushing storylines for both AEW and New Japan, right? Who wouldn't want? I mean, who as an AEW fan wouldn't want to go watch New Japan now after seeing that? It's like, I want to see this guy who attacked Moxley. I want to see their match. I want to see the heat there, right? So.
Yeah, but we'll see. But I don't know. I didn't get our hopes up. But anything else you want to add before we wrap this up?
No, just happy holidays. Hope everybody stays safe and well, and gets what they need this season.
Again, a happy belated Thanksgiving and Black Friday from the both of us. Hopefully you found everything you want and didn't get a 1 second PS5 sellout like I did yesterday. But other than that, take care. We'll see you next week. Back on Wednesday.
Yeah. All right, guys. Thanks for tuning in.
Thank you. And we'll catch you later.